AOC says ICE is the problem, but she voted to fund these exact people, then turns around and storms their building like she's in a Netflix drama. Now, ICE is firing back and she has nothing but slogans and fake tears. Let's get right to the video.
Republicans are trying to traffic in something that is blatantly wrong. Representative Byron Donalds made a fool of himself on national television saying that constitutional rights are only for U.S. citizens. That is incorrect because constitutional rights are about the land. They are about the soil of the United States of America. This is the land of the free, okay? That means that it is our government that is responsible for being held accountable to the standards of the Constitution of the United States. It's not that there are some people that have rights and other people that don't have rights. We are a nation of due process. The government is required to conduct itself along the standards of due process.
So what upsets me most, guys, is she voted to fund this, right? And now she's trying to act like ICE is the enemy, not the people they're detaining for trafficking, fentanyl, stuff like that, or bodily harm. But all the type of stuff they're doing, she's defending these people. But she voted to fund it. I don't understand it. Let's keep going, guys.
And now what DHS is trying to say, again, they're using public intimidation because they know that they cannot come for us all. They know that they cannot come for us all. And recently what they said is that DHS is allegedly looking into arresting members of Congress who were showing up for their legal and constitutional obligation to conduct oversight. If anyone's breaking the law in this situation, it's not members of Congress, it's the Department of Homeland Security. It's people like Tom Homan and Secretary Kristi Noem. You lay a finger on someone, on Representative Bonnie Watson Coleman, on Representative, or any of the representatives that were there, you lay a finger on them, we are going to have a problem. Because the people who are breaking the law are the people who are not abiding by it. And it is enshrined in.
Wait, so now she cares about the law, but storming a federal facility isn't against the law. You see how they try to bend the law in such a way so only they could break it? These are the people that are trying to run America. This is someone that wants to be a presidential candidate. Hey, let's keep going.
That members of Congress who show up to ICE and CBP facilities are required to be granted access, legally required to be granted access. And they legally cannot be inhibited from accessing these facilities to conduct their constitutional obligation to investigate and conduct oversight. So if Kristi Noem wants to break the law, that's on her. But it sure as hell is not someone like Representative Robert Menendez that needs to be arrested, okay? We need to be talking about ICE agent, the ICE agents and the cowardly policy of covering their faces. Covering their faces. And a lot of them are also covering their identification. These are public employees that are accountable to the public and accountable to Congress.
Let's see what they have to say because this is something you guys don't want to miss. Something you guys don't want to miss. Let's get right to it.
So from Massachusetts to this scene in New Jersey on Friday where immigration's hitting a flashpoint in Newark. This is body cam video showing 3 House Democrats confronting ICE agents outside a detention facility there. The DHS saying that arrests are still on the table after that chaos. The acting ICE director, Todd Lyons, here in studio to talk about this. And good morning to you. Got a lot of things we want to sort out here. Democrats claim they have congressional oversight and they're on a visit for oversight, and they have the right to conduct that under federal law. You say to them what, based on what we know now?
I say 100% they do. That is in their purview. They do have congressional oversight. What we ask for is for them to do it the right way. Notify us in advance. Don't make a scene. Don't put my office in jeopardy. Don't put the men and women who work there at jeopardy. The protesters were out there. Just do it the right way.
So where in this case did they cross the line in your view?
In my view, trying to force their way in, just trying to make a political stunt out of this, really, it goes above and beyond. ICE is all about transparency.
Yep.
You know, today we were there, had a tour of the facility with several media outlets. We want people to see what we're doing. But when you go ahead and you try to storm your way in, when you try to just bring cameras, bully my officers and agents, that's just not the right way to do it. Let's work together. Let's have that oversight, but let's do it in a professional manner, not a political stunt.
So the mayor of Newark, Ross Baraka, he had this to say on MSNBC on Saturday.
We don't know what's going on in there. We don't know who's in there. They don't allow inspections. They're not doing, they're not complying with the local laws. They don't have a certificate of occupancy in our argument, and we were in court arguing these matters. We usually solve those problems in America through the court of law. They don't want to use the court. They want to use a decree. They believe that what they say goes, that we have a kingdom here and not a democracy, and that's the problem.
He's in the middle of a primary election. There's a gubernatorial election in November in New Jersey. So he's running against other Democrats. A lot of people might not know his name, but now a lot of people will after.
Really quick, guys, to touch on the point, ICE said they could have made arrests, right? But they didn't because that's restraint. If the roles were reversed and it was Republican there, they would arrest him on the spot. And AOC will go on TikTok and she'll be on there crying about it, trying to get some more empathy from people. Let's keep going.
He says that all of these things are not being done legally at that facility. What do you say?
We wouldn't have been able to have anyone legally in that facility without the permits. And one thing that I really find strikingly odd in this case is the mayor was elected in 2014. In 2014, Delaney Hall was open. There were immigration detainees there at that time. At no time under President Obama did he want to go ahead and have a protest. But yet now he makes a political stunt like this. And, he also made the comments he wasn't there to protest, but he'd been there all week. So there's that.
Mm-hmm. So that's from the mayor. Here's some AOC on camera too. Watch.
If anyone's breaking the law in this situation, it's not members of Congress, it's the Department of Homeland Security. It's people like Tom Homan and Secretary Kristi Noem. You lay a finger on them, we are going to have a problem.
You can address that comment. That's the way we rolled it. Also want to know how many people are in this specific facility? What are they accused of? Who's there?
So currently at the Delaney Hall facility is 152 detainees. 75% of them are convicted of a crime or pending criminal charges. People that are in there, the crimes that they're accused of are rape, child molestation, fentanyl trafficking, murder, wire fraud. These aren't the people you want in your neighborhoods. These
are the exact people that AOC want in your neighborhood. She wants these people out. She wants these people free. She's their advocate. She's the person that is speaking for them. I don't know why we still listen and we still make this person AOC relevant, because obviously she doesn't care about anyone on U.S. soil.
These are other people that are the worst of the worst that ICE are out there arresting, putting their lives in line every day. And to address that comment, under the leadership of Secretary Noem and President.
The real threat isn't ICE. It's who they're keeping off the streets. I'm sorry to pause it, but I just got to let you know that's who the real threat is in AOC.
Trump, we are out there doing what the American people want, and that is getting these public safety threats off the street so they're not out there to reoffend again.
This morning you were with Rachel Campos Duffy, and you were giving a little bit of a tour. What do you hope to try to show people in terms of the transparency that these members of Congress say they want? So you are providing it.
Right. And, I was really happy to have the opportunity to kind of pull back that curtain and let people see exactly what's going on. ICE detention standards are some of the highest in the business. And when you come and you see what the facility actually looks like, I think the American people will be shocked. We've heard all sorts of things from inhumane treatment, no food, phones not working, and that's just not the case.
How many more can be taken to this facility in Newark?
So that facility in Newark can hold up to 1,000.
Up to it. Do you expect that to fill up?
I do, especially now that we're having more cooperation with sanctuary jurisdictions. I think one thing for the Northeast, there isn't a lot of brick and mortar jails or detention facilities.
What people have to realize is every time AOC speaks, she's trying to coordinate drama. Every time she speaks, it's a political stunt. She wants to sit there and make it look like that holding place, that facility is a black site. But they got the whole 9 yards. They got food, they got water, they got access to stuff. And in the end of the day, you're a criminal. So let me know what you guys want to think about this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you're new. And as always, let me know what you react to. We're out.